Welcome to our 2023 badging and recognition ceremony. We had another busy year with lots of growth in 2022. This year we're going to shift our timeline just a little bit, and we're going to honor those who have been hired and promoted from January of 22 through March of 23, and then starting next year we'll go March to March. It just allows us to be a little more real time with some of the promotions at the beginning of the year. With that, I'd like to invite our city manager, John Amundsen, forward. I actually gave him a heads up this time, so he's excited to be here with us this morning. So help me welcome John Amundsen.
Since he did give me a heads up, I feel like there's more pressure to perform this time versus ad hoc. I just had a few thoughts that I'd like to share with you. First, thank you for allowing me to be a part of today's event. It's an honor and a privilege to be among such a group of dedicated public servants, and there's so much to celebrate today. New hires, promotions, educational achievements, retirement, and more. I recognize that there's a lot of history and significance and tradition that comes with the firefighters' badge and badging ceremony, and I definitely respect that and know that as an outsider I don't have all that history, but as I was preparing, I was reading about the significance of the firefighters' badge and the badging ceremony and everything that it signifies, and all the accomplishments that you've achieved. And so I really feel honored to be a part of this and be able to be here with you today. As I was thinking about the badging ceremony and what it symbolizes, a quote that I have in my office came to mind. It's by Jim Rohn, and it says, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment." And I thought about that as I thought about the different accomplishments that we're celebrating today and everything that you do, not only just in the formal accomplishments such as a degree or a promotion, but the way in which you show leadership, the way in which you are ambassadors for the city each and every day. That's where I really feel like you shine as a fire department, and it gives me such pride and comfort knowing that you are the men and women that make up the Richland Fire Department. Just in closing, as your city manager, I want you to know that when the chief asked me to speak, the first thing that came to my mind, the first word that came to my mind was pride. And oftentimes pride is associated with something negative or something boastful. But this is a pride that is born out of gratitude and appreciation for the excellent work that you do each and every day. So thank you. I am so proud of the work that you do and the accomplishments that you have had over this past year, that as I mentioned earlier, that you do each and every day. And so thank you for letting me have such a strong pride in what you do, and let's celebrate your accomplishments. Thank you.
Thank you, John. As John mentioned, today we come together to celebrate some of the individual accomplishments, some of the things that we've done together, and to also celebrate one of our members moving into the post-retirement chapter of his journey, and celebrate that part of our progression as well. I think it's also important for us to take a moment to say thank you to all of the people that allow us to do the work that we do in the community. To really accomplish the mission that we are charged with, to enter into the most difficult and trying days of people's lives, and to bring stability and ultimately healing and reset to that chaos and that loss that they're experiencing. So we simply could not do that work day in and day out without the friends and family members and our city leadership standing behind us and resourcing us, supporting us, encouraging us, and helping us to stay focused on that work while we're here with that charge. So before we dive into the ceremony this morning, I'd like anybody who is not in uniform, friends, family, city leadership, please, if you'll stand up for just a moment. We are able to do what we do because of the support and encouragement that you provide to all of us. And so for all of us that are in uniform, let's offer our thanks and appreciation for this amazing group of people. This morning we're going to celebrate coming into the organization, joining the organization. We're going to celebrate promotions. We're going to celebrate milestones. And those things can be seen as, and truly are, individual accomplishments and individual milestones, but they speak to something much greater. They speak to what we do and how we operate as an organization, and ultimately that mission that we have in the community. So while we celebrate these individual milestones this morning, let's also keep in mind that none of us accomplishes those milestones in a vacuum. We accomplish those milestones with the support of our coworkers, of our family, of the leadership in our city and our organization, the support of each other as we go down these paths. And let's remember as we bring everybody up individually that these are major commitments and major workloads that we do individually, but we truly accomplish those things together. This is the magic in this organization that allows us to protect and enhance the quality of life, our mission in this community. Not because we are an organization made up of amazing individuals, which we are, but it is what we do together as individuals to come together as a team to deliver that service that really makes what we do, and I think who we are organizationally, something special. The key challenge that I have every year is literally with an organization like this, with a workforce that we have, we could recognize every single employee for a significant and meaningful contribution to this organization. And we could spend the entire day here talking about those individual contributions and how that happens and what people are bringing to this community and this department. But today specifically, we want to recognize those milestones that we accomplished, that you have all accomplished. And I will echo John's words in that I truly appreciate not only the work that you do, but how you do it, and the heart that you bring and the soul that you bring to this organization and our role in the community. And just as John said, there's a lot of fire chiefs that wish they could be more proud of their organizations. I could not be more proud than I am of who you are and what you do and what we do together. So from the bottom of my heart as your fire chief, thank you. With that, let's get started. And I'm going to invite the chief officers to come up to my left. And we're going to change the progression just a little bit. In past ceremonies, we've had people just kind of stand at table and recognize. We're going to actually bring everybody forward this year. Chief officers are going to offer a handshake, and then we'll do some group photos for each category. Down at the end, Allison's going to help us with that. And just so I don't forget, I need to say thank you, one more set of thank yous. Megan and Karen and Trish and Shauna, let's see, our rec staff, there's so many people, Carson, so many people that have worked the logistics and the setup, Sherry Gartside, to make today happen. So again, to all of you, my sincere thanks. So on that note, Allison is also helping us, and we'll do some group photos down at the end with each category. So at this time, I'll invite the chief officers up. And our first category that we want to recognize major milestones is formal education milestones, and Battalion Chief Brenda Rogers is going to head that up for us.
Good morning. As a key part of our organizational culture, lifelong learning, we wanted to recognize those from 2022, and there's no exception for our workforce being lifelong learners. We'd like to invite the following individuals forward to recognize them for the investment they have made in their own professional development and the impact that they continue to have in the organization for our customers. Those that have completed paramedic school: Eric Center, Darren Larpenter, and Brett Ullman. We can have you come forward. Those that are currently in paramedic school, Matthew Jubb, Jason Garrison, and Josh Anglesey. Those that have completed EMT school, Justin Carvito and Jonathan Witt. Completion of advanced EMT school, Colton Casillas, Jake Croshaw, Henry Foster, Kelsey Hahn, Cody Keaton, Chad Miller, Colton Roney, Colin McCabe, Zach Wallace, and Chris Willett. I'd like to especially recognize those that have gone up and beyond, not only stopping with advancing their medical certifications and stuff, but had gone on to get advanced degrees. Colt O'Brien received his master's degree in management and leadership. Colt, they must not have, they're still on a call. Rollo Marquin, master's degree in management and leadership. And Joe DeRossi, master's degree in management and leadership. Next, we'll be having Battalion Chief Hempstead recognize those NFA and CPSE milestones.
Welcome, everybody. Hey, John, I'm very prideful of our organization, and I let it be known. Tom gave me a script. For you guys that don't know me, I don't like scripts, so we'll go a little bit off script today. What you're going to experience is a really healthy organization because of the investments everyone has made in the room, and we're just recognize that investment. We're trying to be a learning organization that keeps evolving. So what we've done is we've partnered with the National Fire Academy intentionally over the last decade. We have a relationship that goes back 4 decades. But what you experience today when you interact with the Richland Fire Department really is founded with our relationship with the National Fire Academy. They're the ones that we partnered with to move and change our culture so we're community-centric. Everything we do now aligns with bringing value to the community. And it was through this partnership and the way we looked at programming with them that has allowed us to be where we are today as an organization. So I want to recognize some people that have continued, continued that relationship with an NFA and recognize a few people. The first one is Randy Ost, our deputy chief. He is not here today. He's down in Florida at a conference trying to learn and bring some more stuff back to us. But he completed the Executive Fire Officer program. It provides senior fire officers with a broad perspective on various facets of fire and emergency service administration. The courses and accompanying research examine how to exercise leadership when dealing with difficult and unique problems within the communities. So it's a 4-year program that he completed last year, and it takes a lot of work, a lot of time to get through that process. Chief Huntington is another graduate of the EFO program. So we're trying to bring the highest level of service we can through education and tying that to our service back to the community. So if you guys wouldn't mind, I know Randy's not here, but give him a little round of applause. Okay, another program that we encourage our officers to go to is Managing Officer Program. I'll give you a quick description of it. It's a multi-year curriculum that introduces emergency service leaders to a personal and professional skills in change management, risk reduction, and adaptive leadership. Acceptance into this program is the first step in your professional development as a fire and EMS manager and includes all 4 elements of professional development: education, training, experience, and continuing education. What I'd like to do is invite Pete Zukowski. He's still on the call too. All righty. And Jim Stovall. Did Jim make it? There we go. So they both graduated this last year from this program. It's a 2-year program, and you have to do a capstone and some other things associated with it. And we continue to participate in that endeavor. Jim's also working on his master's program. So a lot of education going on in our organization. Come here, big guy. One of our newer endeavors is working with the Center for Public Safety Excellence. For us, it's a strategic partnership. The International City and County Managers Association and International Association of Fire Chiefs provided us credentialing and organization accreditation. So we're moving down another path with another partner from a national level environment. And we're excited to recognize an individual that got credentialed at an officer level last year. We've already seen him once. Would Raul Mariquin come up and visit me?
Thank you.
There we go. These gentlemen that you're seeing recognized today really are paving the way for the next generation. If you go to the generation before these gentlemen, we weren't as engaged in education. We weren't elevating our opportunities to serve the community to this level and this depth. And I'm very appreciative for that. It's amazing to see where our organization's come over the last, well, for me, 4 decades. It's fantastic. The next speaker that I'd like to introduce is Battalion Chief Van Beek, and he's going to share with you some information on our flagship initiative, HeartSafe.
Okay, thank you all for being here. My name is Michael Van Beek. I'm a battalion chief over EMS and fire prevention. Unlike Jim, I like to stay on script, and I have one, so pardon me if I have to read this, but we want to take a moment to recognize our HeartSafe Richland program and what that means. So in 2019, the department established organizational legacy initiatives, and this included delivering the best in class of cardiac, stroke, and trauma emergencies. Because of these legacy initiatives, HeartSafe Richland program was formed. HeartSafe Richland is a public education initiative to teach hands-only CPR and AED use. Our motto for HeartSafe Richland is don't wait for help, be the help. We want to empower our community to take action in the setting of sudden cardiac arrest. We know that the key to increasing survival from sudden cardiac arrest is to educate and engage our community and provide them with the necessary tools to be successful. Survival from cardiac arrest increases significantly when lay rescuers begin CPR, deploying AED prior to EMS arrival. To date, HeartSafe Richland has trained over 15,000 people in our community in hands-only CPR and AEDU. So how about a round of applause for that? In September of 2022, we launched our public access AED program as a part of the Heart Safe Richland initiative. We dedicated our first Save station in Howard Amon Park near the Lee Boulevard dock, just right out here. This is our first 24/7 publicly accessible AED. One aspect of this program that I'm most proud of is that it was a true citywide initiative. It took the collaboration and shared vision of 5 different city departments to make this happen. We will be looking to continue placing these life-saving devices throughout our community. By placing these life-saving devices in an accessible outdoor public space, we can flip the statistics and improve and save lives from cardiac arrest. So I'd like to recognize 3 individuals for their work. So if we could have firefighter Colt O'Brien, Captain Andy Sabin, and Captain Josh Smith come forward. So I'd like to just say a few words. I guess Colt isn't here, but Colt is an emerging leader within our organization. He has jumped all in our EMS system and Heart Safe Richland. He has helped in a number of videos and photo sessions. If he was here, you'd know why he's in the videos and photo sessions. And he is passionate about saving lives from cardiac arrest. Captain Andy Sabin. Andy is our medical program officer. This last year, Andy has helped teach hands-only CPR classes, engaged with Catholic Regional Medical Center to improve survival from cardiac arrest, and was instrumental in planning our Chain of Survival ceremony, where we honor our cardiac arrest survivors and our crews for their life-saving measures. Captain Josh Smith, he is the one that had the vision for Heart Safe Richland. Chief Huntington laid out his legacy initiatives of being best in class in cardiac care, and Josh built a program to meet this challenge. Josh has been a champion for increasing cardiac arrest survival, not only in Richland, but throughout the nation. Josh has taught thousands of people hands-only CPR and mentored numerous agencies and organizations to become heart-safe communities. The tireless efforts and work that these 3 have committed to increasing cardiac arrest survival is amazing, and we appreciate and recognize your efforts. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin Landon. I'm the Battalion Chief of Training and Development, Training and Development. And I have the honor of talking about the 2022 Tri-Cities Recruit Academy and all our participants. So if I could have up with the stage with me, it would be Scott Clementson, Brian Bowe, and Jim Hempstead. So in addition to the recruits that we sent to the Academy, we sent 3 members to participate as Academy staff members. As they could probably tell you, Academy is a lot of work. There were several weeks of preparation, followed by a 16-week intensive enculturation and saturation of our values, ethics, morals that they participated in. So it's a major commitment of time and resources, and I would argue it's one of our best commitments of time and resources that we're investing in our next generation, the development and growth of them. It's near and dear to my heart, this academy. I was there for several years, as you can tell by some of the gray hair on my head. I'm very passionate about the service. So it covers didactic, base knowledge, essential practical skills and capabilities necessary for the job. But the most important part of academy is we talk about culture. We talk about building community through relationships. And we invest that time and a pretty significant resource into that academy with these individuals. So Jim Hempstead served as the administrative liaison for the academy. This includes the chief oversight, growth and development of the academy cadre, and as you may have noticed, there's a special motivational encouragement that only he can provide. The nickname became the Hurricane Hempstead. He would come in and provide passion, pride, and purpose every day. Scott Clementson, our training program officer, served as an academy coordinator along with our counterpart Justin Lockman from Pasco. This includes supervision, development of the ACOs, instructor, logistics, finance. Hey, can you go get that guy? He did a little bit of everything and was the glue that I think held the academy together. Brian Bowe served as the academy company officer as representing Richland. He had the direct supervision of recruits, building relationships, coaching, counseling, instructing, hands-on leadership. And as a discussion we had just last week at Academy, it's so much fun to hear these stories come back. Hey, do you remember Brian Bowe as an academy company officer? I'm like, yeah. He says, remember the passion he brought? Remember the enthusiasm and that countless, 100% reliable smile he'd bring in? Yeah, I remember that guy. So thank you, Brian. They represented Richland well, and we're so thankful that they were able to participate and bring our culture forward. So thank you for your participation and your enthusiasm and passion.
We'll recognize one of the three jokers down there again here in just a moment. So Brian, if you want to stay close by. The next category, this is a milestone in that it's a pretty significant transition. We have a number of positions on days that up in the front office, the administrative side, you could say, that we have uniformed employees work in. And those are typically temporary assignments. So they come over to days, they have a complete and utter culture shock in the reality of the kind of work and the pace. And then they go back to operations and have an equal culture shock going back to working shift work and running calls back to back and getting back into that mode. So we just want to recognize some of those transitions that happened in 22 and the last couple months in early 23. The first of which, Brian, if you want to come up. Brian served as our medical training officer. And I would echo what Battalion Chief Landon shared in that this guy's level of passion and enthusiasm for his assigned work is off the charts. He's unlike, I don't even know how to put into words, but I wanted to share when he gets his arms around something and gets a vision for something, there's this transformation. You can see it in his eyes and his posture and his attitude, and you can see the tornado that's coming behind Brian, and you know that the product that he's producing is going to be top notch. What he accomplished in that, he was our first medical training coordinator, and what he accomplished in that time that he was in the office is almost unbelievable. Interaction with our medical program director, program enhancements for our medical training, implementation of new protocols, cardiac care protocols, and so forth. So Brian really broke the ground for that position and what we can accomplish organizationally in that position. And I just want to say thank you, Brian, for the passion and the drive that you brought to that position and what you contributed there. And he's transitioning, and we'll badge him in a few minutes here, transitioning back to operations based on a promotion that he received this year. And I'm thrilled and excited for what you provided in your role on days, and I'm really excited and cannot wait to see what you do in operations as well in your new role. So thank you very much. Congratulations. Our next transition from days to operations is Josh Jordan, and I don't think I've seen Josh. Are you here, Josh? Similarly, Josh came to days from operations and worked as our deputy fire marshal. Thank you. Worked as deputy fire marshal, came into the role without a lot of background or exposure and just stepped into the gap and really thrived there. He went to certification classes, and when I say certification classes for fire prevention, it's 40 to 50 hours in a 1 week block, 5 days a week, studying fire code manuals and taking written exams based on those fire code manuals. This is like intensive, grueling certification level stuff. And Josh embraced that, and he not only did the minimum requirement, but he went above and beyond that and literally took on anything that Ken Beekler would offer him in terms of development and growth in that position. And I think a lot of us, Josh is a pretty quiet, reserved guy, and a lot of us were really amazed at that his ability within that sort of quiet demeanor to accomplish so much in terms of relationship with our development community and contractors and and different aspects of the public interaction that we have in the fire prevention division. So Josh is not here, but please join me in congratulating him on a transition from doing an amazing job in the fire prevention division to now transitioning back to operations and really thriving and doing some great stuff there as well. And finally, transition off of days to operations is Battalion Chief James Hempstead. What can you even say about James Hempstead? Jim came over 2 days, let's see, 3 years into my tenure as a new fire chief. And most people would look at a transition like that and say, you're not a new fire chief after 3 years. But believe me, I was still very much in a steep learning curve there. Jim came over, and we have always had such amazing synergy, in part because we balance each other out on so many things. This engagement on days with Jim was no exception. And frankly, his entry onto days in that leadership team allowed us to get recalibrated, to get our legacy initiatives established, and to really get some infrastructure in place that has allowed us to really move forward at a rapid pace and frankly become the organization that we have become and lay the foundation for what we will grow into in the future. Jim has moved back to operations somewhat reluctantly from both of our point, not because it's not amazing work, but because Jim so enjoyed the work on days and thrived there. But to his credit, and I really do want to acknowledge this morning, it's incumbent upon all of us as leaders to recognize when we need to move out of the way and create an opportunity for the next generation of leadership. And that is very much what Jim did and was willing to do, so that we could begin to implement our succession plan and have some fresh ideas and a new person in that position on days. So there are not enough words, Jim, for me to express my appreciation for what you've done and what you will continue to do, and equally importantly, for finishing strong. He's in a different role, and he hasn't let off the pedal, as you can see, one iota in that time. And I know that Jim will be in that same zone until the day that he is up here and we're celebrating his decision to retire. So please help me thank and congratulate Jim on this transition and for all kinds of levels, and my deep appreciation, Jim. So with the transition of all these folks into ops, we have equal openings on days for people to transition from operations onto days. And we'll start with Tim Birch, and I did see Tim, if you want to come up. Tim is coming into the moving from operations to the medical training officer position. We're really, really excited. Tim brings a level of technical capability and technology capability that much of the rest of our staff is not up to speed on, and brings a work ethic and attitude that we're really, really excited to have become part of not only this division, the training division, and this role, but our overall team on days. So Tim, welcome. We're very excited to have you and see what you want to get done in the next couple of years together. So welcome. Next up is Colton Casillas, and I did see Colton. Yeah, there he is. Colton moved from operations to the deputy fire marshal position, and you know, sometimes you have we have this amazing workforce, and you watch what happens in operations, and you just don't expect the move, let alone the transition that happens when people come to days. And I have to say that Colton's been with us for a few months now. But he's literally blown us out of the water. Like, to have somebody come from ops and into this role, much like Josh, he's not only stepped into the gap, but he's taken everything we've thrown at him and asked for more. It's been remarkable. It's been exciting to watch, and we are truly thrilled to have you part of the team, and can't wait to see what the next few years bring. So welcome. Excited to have you on the team. And then finally, and again, we will celebrate this at the badging in our next section, but Kevin Landon moved from operations to day shift in the training and development battalion chief position, the position that Jim Hempstead was in previously. Kevin was with us in the training division, I think, for 7 years prior. We gave him an opportunity to get back in ops and get a little reset, and then this opportunity came up, and we're excited to have him join the team in this role. I don't think he's had the ear-to-ear smile off of his face since he came back to days with us. I think his DNA was constructed to work in the training division. He's a natural there. He's a systems thinker, and he is a workhorse in the traditional vernacular. He gets so much done, and we're so excited to have you back on days with us, Kevin, and to be part of the training division and the overall day shift team. So welcome, and we're excited to have you back up front with us. So. So to the casual observer, these transitions could seem fairly benign. You know, you're going from a shift position to a day position, but literally the work is so different especially in operations now with the shifts that we've had in society and community and call volume and demand and complexity, to moving to a much more, sort of structured administrative environment. And everybody that we've just recognized here has made that transition from a very operational driven environment to a very administrative and structured environment flawlessly. And that speaks to not only the individuals that we've introduced here, but it speaks to the overall workforce that we have here and the adaptability that is sort of baked into our organization. And again, I'm so proud of not only all of you that we've just recognized for all of these various categories, but for the whole organization in your willingness to adapt and to continue to grow both individually and organizationally. So thank you. And don't forget your group photo. Okay, that brings us to our main event for the day, and that is to do our new hire promotions and retirement recognition. This is where we'll do the badging as part of our badging ceremony. A quick word on the badge. We'll present to both our Recruit Academy graduates from last year, as well as the people who have been promoted their badge. We'll pin their badge this morning. It's easy to look at the badge and think that it sort of represents in and of itself. We talk about the badge and getting the badge and what the badge means. But the badge is really that piece that represents a whole bunch of things. It's not the badge itself, right, that we're celebrating. The badge represents the commitment, the passion, the investment, the ownership, the pride in what we do, the community investment, the engagement at the customer level. It represents all of those things as each of these people either is coming into the organization and passing probation, working for promotions and attaining those promotions. And so as we celebrate each of these folks and pin their badge on, it is a major milestone. It's a major step along a long career, 25, 35, in Jim's case, 40-year career in the organization and the industry. And this is a very big deal. And we're excited to be able to share this with all of you and to celebrate this with those of you that will be badged this morning. So I'm going to hand this back over to Battalion Chief Landon, and he is going to welcome, as we start, the current recruits and lateral hires that we have in Academy right now. Our entry-level folks are in Academy and could not join us, but we do have our lateral hires here today, and Captain Landon, or I'm sorry, Battalion Chief Landon will introduce those folks.
Alrighty, hello again. In February of this year, we were fortunate to have 6 new firefighters join the Richland Fire Emergencies family, and that's a big deal. We always love seeing new faces and getting to know them. We are special this year that we have 3 lateral, so formal lateral firefighters that are joining us in addition to the 3 new recruits. So we have 3 of them. If they could join me this morning, come on up. We have AJ Fandrich, Kyle Felmley, and Trent Nelson. You guys have your speeches prepared? We were working on an interpretive dance, but it hasn't quite come together yet.
Oh, you guys can wait up here.
Oh, yeah, come on. Just a couple kind words. As you may have seen on Facebook, I'm not a Facebooker, but I'm told that these gentlemen were represented with some background and why they were asked why they wanted Richland. And I think to every one of them, to a person, they said culture. It's the people here. This is, again, it's a formalized lateral hire process. So we have a 2-week enculturation, that's what we call it, where we bring new people in and we saturate them with culture, relationships, building community. And I gotta ask you guys, you don't have to respond, but it's probably different than any first 2 weeks you've ever been to. Yeah, it's different. We finished those 2 weeks and we have parted ways. I have 3 new recruits heading to Pasco for the Tri-Cities Recruit Academy. And then the 3 doing a lateral academy, which is not the first time we've done a lateral academy. This is the first time we're calling it a formal lateral academy. It is 4 weeks. It's jam-packed of relationships, topics, and has been, and John Walling's here, Captain Walling's here, and he has told me it is so much fun to work with you guys. The energy you bring, the enthusiasm, and just how much fun it is to talk to people who've been in the business for a while. Each comes with significant experience, but I think it's, John, I'm going to quote you, and maybe I'm wrong, but we know you have a choice in where you work, and we thank you for choosing Richland. Thank you for choosing Richland. Welcome to the family. Thank you. Okay. Like I mentioned before, we have 3 new recruit firefighters attending the 2023 Tri-Cities Recruit Academy. They are Joel Murillo, Joseph Schwartz, and Zach Weinert. They're currently, I think they're doing building construction today. And they're deeply engaged there. This time is a 17-week academy because there are 16 of them. We work in conjunction with Pasco. They're going there to learn our culture and to learn how we do things and to bring them into our family. And it's an experience that many have said upon return, that's the greatest thing I'd ever want to do again. So, but it's a wonderful opportunity to bring them into the family, get them the didactic skills, and then the practical guidance on skills, and then the interpersonal dynamics to bring them back. So we'll be badging them, I believe, next year. So thank you, and again, thank you for choosing Richland. So I have the honor of introducing our newest members of the administration staff. So if you could please join me up front, Karen Kendall and Carson Godinez. We talked about it yesterday. They weren't. We talked about it yesterday, and these are 2 very humble people who don't need the notoriety. But they agreed they would come up. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. So, as mentioned previously by the Chief Huntington, 2022 was an exciting year full of changes throughout the organization, and we are very fortunate to have had 2 more wonderful people join our administrative staff team. You're making faces over there. Their offices may be up front at Station 7-1, but their impact covers the entire organization and community. I'll just talk briefly. Karen Kendall, I know, like I said, keep it short. Karen Kendall. Karen previously served 18 years at CCOM, leaving as a lead dispatcher, and then served at Hanford Fire, serving as an administration. And I will tell you, as the person on the other end of the radio, it is so nice to put a face with a voice. Karen joined Richland Fire and Emergency Services in March of 2022. It's almost been a year. It has been a year, hasn't it? March 14th. Karen brings a wealth of experience in emergency services and communications. And one of the things I asked her yesterday is, one of your favorite parts of working here? And she said, it's the people. And it's true. You're now one of those people. We're very excited to have you. Carson Godinez. Carson previously served in communities in a multitude of ways. We had a great conversation yesterday, and I wish I'd taken better notes. But Carson worked for the AmeriCorps, serving as a preschool teacher and working with homeless and at-risk youth. She worked in the Peace Corps in Mongolia. Pretty darn impressive. The Boys and Girls Club, the Parent-Child Assistance Program with Elijah Family Homes. Carson has been in many different communities serving. And she most recently working for Consistent Care Services, partnering with Richland Fire to provide a profound impact on the community. And if you haven't heard her name yet, it's going to be out there. She's pretty phenomenal. The touch and the impact she's having on our community, especially as people who are responding to these calls, to be able to come back around and help people that really need help that we can't provide has been fantastic. So they're both I would argue, a fantastic contribution to the team up front, where they're now the people that people are excited to come in and talk to. So I love going up there every day. I have to find a reason to go up there and say hi. So thank you and welcome to the team. Next up is Battalion Chief Van Beek.
Okay, now we would like to recognize 4 firefighters who completed the February 2022 Regional Fire Academy and have also completed their 1-year probationary period. So before we invite them up to be badged, I'd just like to say a few words on what it means to be, in my opinion, what it means to be a good firefighter. So we often say the company officer is the face of the organization, which is true, but I believe the firefighter rank is the backbone of the organization. The firefighter position is primarily focused on delivering our core mission to protect and enhance the quality of life through fire and EMS services to our community. In order to do this, you must invest in your craft, push yourself, and strive for excellence in every aspect of the job. Being off probation does not mean your learning is over. It means it is your opportunity to enhance your skills and, more importantly, mentor those coming in behind you to be great firefighters. Being a great firefighter is more than just doing what is required, but seeking out new opportunities to grow. It is your time to live out our culture we have established and find new ways to enhance our culture. I once asked an old wise and salty firefighter one day, I said, "Trevor, what makes a good fire officer?" And without hesitation, he said, "Well, of course, a great senior firefighter." And we had a good laugh over that, but it's absolutely true. Great firefighters make great officers, and they make this place great. So never underestimate the value of a good senior firefighter. So with that, our first one we'd like to recognize is firefighter Colton Roney. He was hired October 25th, 2021, and I believe his mother, Melissa, is here to pin him. So go ahead and come on up. So Colton gets to stay up here. So just a few words about Colton. Colton's actually a 3rd-generation Richland firefighter. His grandfather, Battalion Chief Larry Roney, worked here. His uncle Dave Roney, a lieutenant, works here, and his dad, Captain Chris Roney, works here. So I had the opportunity to be hired with Colton's dad, Chris, 22 years ago. So I got to see Colton grow up. I got to see him run around in not a lot of clothes, screaming for chicken nuggets, and I'm glad to see you're finally wearing pants. So that's a good start. Appreciate that. All right, so our next hire we'd like to recognize is Jonathan Witt. Jonathan was also hired October 25th, 2021. If we could have him come up. And Chief Huntington, you will be doing the pinning for John. Congratulations, Jonathan. So my memories of John Witt are he was in the front office quite a bit right before he got hired because we were trying to find clothes to fit him. He's a big guy, and nothing seemed to work out. So I just remember him coming in all the time. But what I also remember, and being able to work with John for a few shifts now, is that even though he's big in stature, he has the most tender and kind heart. So never lose that, John. Appreciate that. Our next firefighter is Justin Carvito. Justin Carvito was hired December 31st of 2021 and completed the February 22 Fire Academy. And Chief Huntington, you will be doing the pinning as well. So Justin came to us after having a pretty long and established career in a completely different field. He had no experience in fire and EMS, had to go through EMT school. And the one thing that has impressed me is, I know as I get older, it's harder and harder to remember things and to learn new things. But Justin has jumped in full force and has been a quick study, and I have no doubt he's going to have a long and good career here at Richland. So thanks. Jake Croshaw, hired December 31st, 2021, and he will be pinned by his brother, who, as you can see, also works here, Josh Croshaw. So the one thing I have to say about Jake is that every time I see him and every time I walk into a station and he's there, and he's going to disappoint me now, but he's got a giant smile on his face, and it has never left. And if you've seen his teeth, I would smile a lot too. So it's almost like your mom was a dental hygienist or something. So anyway, we look forward to having all of you here. We're super excited that you're here, and we have no doubt you're going to have a long and great career here at Richland. So welcome.
Okay, next up, we're going to celebrate some of the promotions that I mentioned earlier in some of those day shift transitions. Our first badging for promotions this year, and he was promoted in January of 2023 from firefighter to lieutenant. I'd like to invite Brian Bowe forward. He's going to be badged by his wife, Sadie. There we go. As I said earlier, Brian just was such a huge contributor to the team and the work product in the front office and the training division, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with as he grows in the organization and attains future promotions. And I'm excited to see where your career will take you, Brian, and what your future holds, because you have a very, very bright future here. So congratulations. And Brian, we'll have you get onto the photo setting down there. Yeah. Okay, next up, John Walling. I think I saw John, right? Yep, there you are. So in a similar vein to what Battalion Chief Van Beek shared, I had the privilege of sitting on John's entry-level interview when he was applying to the department as a brand new firefighter. And were you 19? Yeah. 19? And so he was 19 going on 12. And I remember his, his interview, and I say that with love in my heart, absolutely. But he was so nervous in that interview. He was literally shaking. He had sweat rolling off his brow. And the chief, Grant Baines, and I, we got quite a chuckle after the interview. His heart came through, and we absolutely had to hire him. But to see where John started in that first interview where I first met you to where he stands now, and this promotion is from lieutenant to captain in operations. This is not even, you can't even recognize John Walling from where he was at entry to where you are now. And I mean that in the best possible way. This guy's, much like Brian, this guy's heart and soul and work ethic and contribution to this place just seems like every year exponentially expands into what you're doing and the influence that you're having here. And I'm so excited, not only with this promotion for you and what you're doing now, but what your future holds. And I will echo what I said with Brian, and that your future is very bright here, John. So congratulations. And finally, our final promotion that we want to celebrate this morning is Kevin Landon. Kevin, if you'll come on up here. I'm going to give you another one at the end. The theme with these three promotions is the heart that these three people bring, and Kevin is no exception to that. As I said earlier, his DNA, I believe, was imprinted with the training division. He has contributed more to the infrastructure and curriculum and approach, and I would say our regional recruit academy. He literally built that with his peer in Pasco from the ground up into what it is today. I don't know if there's anybody in the organization that has contributed to the depth in a particular discipline within the organization that Kevin has in the training division, and there have been some really great training officers over the years. But I want to recognize not just his promotion this morning, Kevin, but your journey as well from way back. Kevin, if we go way back to when Kevin was 16, was one of our fire explorers with the Boy Scouts of America program here. We actually backpacked into Man Gulch in Helena, Montana, and had some great experiences there, and then he joined the organization a few years later. But again, to see that career progression and to celebrate this promotion with you this morning, in your words, is pretty spectacular. And so congratulations, and I will say the same thing that I did to the first two. Cannot wait to see what lies ahead, because you have a very, very bright future in front of you in this organization. So thank you. The final segment of our program this morning is to celebrate the retirement of Battalion Chief Ron Duncan. And he was going, did he make it? Oh, excellent. Yeah, he snuck in a little late. Ron has a distinguished career with the organization and our city, as well as a long career with Benton County Fire District 2 as their chief out here. He managed a workload across his career that most of us would shudder at the thought of, and he didn't just navigate the workload of both organizations. He thrived in those organizations. Ron's commitment and contribution to our operational deployment and operational capability is really unparalleled in, I think it's safe to say, even the history of the organization. Ron probably remains, even in retirement, the most respected tactician in the region. He was the subject matter expert when it came to incident management, ICS structure, operational deployment, operational management. His depth and passion for that just spoke through consistently. And you could see that speak through to the officers that worked for him as well, as he mentored and coached and helped grow each of those officers over the years. As we celebrate retirements of chief officers, you will hear me say, maybe in every single case, that there were many things that Ron and I did not agree upon, and you've heard me say that about some of the other chiefs that have retired out of here. Some would see that as a negative, but I think that shows the signs of a healthy organization when, particularly at our level, we can have respectful, even sometimes significant differences of opinion, and we can work through that, and we can land on a shared approach forward. And one of the things that I most valued about Ron's contribution, not only to the organization, but more specifically to our leadership team, is he often had a differing perspective. He often had a viewpoint that was informed differently than the rest of us, and he contributed that with professionalism and dialogue in a way that allowed us to be better as a team. And so for all those things that we did together, for all those things that maybe we didn't fully agree upon, and for all the things that you helped shape and contribute to in the organization, Ron, thank you. And it has been an honor and a privilege to work with you all these years. So I'm going to invite the other chief officers up to say some words as well, and then we'll give the mic to you when we're done.
We didn't really disagree that much.
No, not that much, but when we did, it was good stuff. So. Who's up first?
Nobody felt like you need to say that.
Oh, no, buddy. I've been waiting for this. No. Chief Huntington mentioned Ron's contribution to our region. So for the last 30 years, he's been one of the mainstays of our region in the fire and EMS service. He has contributed probably as much as anybody that has walked through the Tri-Cities in our industry. And he is the best tactician in my career that I have seen. Those are two huge accolades that I think anybody would be proud of. But Ron, I'm going to tell you what stands out in my eyes about you. Our industry is short on leaders, believe it or not. We got a lot of managers, but very few true leaders. You got to be able to inspire. You got to be able to invest in your people. You got to be able to create impact for them. And I can tell you, Ron, you did that. You modeled the way for your crew, for our department, and for the region. Your crew loves you. Very few people get to retire out and have their workforce 100% behind them and full of respect for that individual. Ron did it right. Congratulations and thank you.
I actually didn't script this one out, Ron, so.
I don't know why anybody feels like they need to say that.
So I'm just going to echo, a common theme. Ron was an excellent tactician. I learned so much from Ron when it comes to running incidents, running his crew. I do have a funny story, though, that maybe it's not funny, but it's funny to me. And it kind of speaks to Ron. So if you don't know Ron, he's very black and white. He is straightforward. Some might say blunt at times. And that's great. We know Ron and we love Ron for that. One story I have is, believe it or not, we were having a slight disagreement over some apparatus deployment when I was the medical officer. And he was in my office, and neither one of us, for whatever reason, wanted to back down that day, and we both were expressing our viewpoints and thought we were right. And we kind of parted ways, and after about a half an hour, Ron came back, and he said, "I'm still right, but I love you," and he threw a handful of candy at me. I don't know if he remembers that, but I do, but it speaks to Ron's character. It speaks that he truly, underneath this kind of very straightforward exterior, he truly cared about his people, and I think that's what I will remember about Ron, and I know that's what your shift will remember about you, Ron, and the people that you were in charge of, is that you really, truly cared about your people. So thank you for that.
Yeah, good question. I too want to echo those same things. You've been an inspiration and definitely a model for other battalion chiefs and leadership. So thank you for that. I hope to one day be as good of a golfer as I hear you are. So maybe not only some of your leadership traits that you've passed on to others. I'm hoping to go out with the same kind of inspiration that you've left behind. So thank you for everything you've done.
Okay, with that, I'm going to invite Ron up if you'd like to say a few words. No? No? Okay, yeah.
It's actually been a really good career, and I'll tell you that I enjoyed my time here, and the City of Richland's been a great employer. I think that the younger guys will soon realize that if you haven't already. I've said a lot in my career, so I'll not say a lot right now. So I mean, most people that know me know who I am, what I've done, and I think more than anything is I appreciate the friendships that I've got. So stay safe, operations.
Thank you, Ron. All right, part of our tradition in honoring our retirees is to provide them with a shadow box. If one of you could bring that down this direction. And the shadow box contains all of the badges. We celebrate the badging along the way. This represents all of the ranks that Ron has worked in the organization, and that time and commitment and work and contribution is represented in these badges in his shadow box that we offer him as our retirement gift and our thank you for your contribution. So thank you, Ron. All right.
I just wanted to capture Station 4 crew that was out on a call and didn't get recognized, so I wanted to give them the proper recognition. So if you guys would come up here so we can recognize you. Formal education was Colt O'Brien for his master's degree in management and leadership, as well as part of the Heart Safe. Pete Zukowski was part of the NFA's Managing Officer Program. And Firefighter Chad Miller was part of the Advanced EMT Program. Congratulations to all.
That's the value of the team approach. Thank you, Brenda, for catching that. And thank you, guys. We have a photo opportunity at the end of the hall there. Don't forget that. That concludes our program this morning. As I hope for those of you who are here from outside the organization or here in a support role or here maybe even as a casual observer, what has come through this morning about this organization is the heart and soul and the people. And in all of these milestones that we celebrate and all of the things that have happened behind the scenes that we don't bring forward for formal recognition, my sincere thanks as your fire chief, and to all of you who have joined us this morning, thank you for being with us this morning. It really means a lot to us that you'd share this opportunity to celebrate with us. That concludes our program for this year. We'll do this again, we think, in March next year. We're going to get some feedback on timing and so forth. But we will have our 2023 celebration early next year, and hope that all of you can join us for that as well. So thank you, and have an amazing and blessed day today.